You've been being conned your entire life. This is John, your Mindset Moto guy, coming to you with your daily upshift video. I just wanted to talk to you guys today about how we've all been conned since we were little itty bitty babies, all throughout life, at home, in school, at church, at whatever, all the things you've done, you've been sort of conned. And what I mean by that is you've been conned into believing certain things. And I don't say that in a negative or a positive way. It's just in a way that everything you know to be true, everything you believe, every opinion you have is based on the fact that you've been exposed to certain things. You've been taught certain ways. You know, you would even as simple as some of you might be really happy seeing the woods and the twisty roads out here, and some of you might not. You might be more urban and be conned into believing that city life is the best, and I might be conned into believing that rural life is the best. And nothing's right or wrong, but we all have all these different ideas and opinions and morals and just all this take on life, and it was all given to us by other people. And I'm not saying that's all necessarily a bad thing, but if you're struggling with something and you're struggling to survive, and be healthy, or, grow your business or increase your income or just be happy and whatever the case is, if you're struggling with that, it's pretty much because you believe a certain thing a certain way to be true. And because it was convinced into you. An old mentor of mine always said, he said somebody like Warren Buffett's kids aren't going to have any concerns or thought. They're going to have some pretty positive thoughts about money because they have, they grew up with money. It wasn't even an object. It was a thing to invest in. Whereas if you grew up with not a lot of money, you might be really nervous about money or want money to do certain things, that you might have a different relationship with that. And again, that's just one concept everybody's kind of familiar with. But even like debt, it's, if you had the money to buy a vehicle and you could get a loan for that same vehicle for like 3% or 4%, maybe you could use that money to do some other investing and not pay it off on your motorcycle rather than just paying outright. And I'm not giving you financial advice by any means, but I just want to show you some examples of how your perspective on things can be very different, depending on what you know, what you've been around, the kind of people you hang around with. They all tell us we're the product of our five closest friends that we hang out and spend the most time with. So if you look around at your five, it's probably pretty true. There might be one or two on either extreme end, but for the most part, you all have the same basic stuff going on in your life. So if you're not happy with where you are, you might want to start looking at, surrounding yourself with some different folks as well that are going to bring up your score a little bit. So the cool thing is that because we've been conned, we get back to that conned concept, that means we can continue to be conned, and we can actually con ourselves into believing better things that serve us more instead of things that don't serve us, things that keep us afraid and in the shadows and not willing to reach out and not willing to put ourselves out there to grow and increase our presence, or whatever the case, whatever your mission is that you want to accomplish. 90% of the time, if not more, it's because you're worried about you don't have the confidence to put yourself out there, and that's because you've been conned into believing that that's important, that you have to have this amazing amount of confidence, and I'm not as strong as the other guy, or I'm not as beautiful as the other person. They were born in a better town. All the stuff we feed ourselves that convinces us that we're doing things in a weird way, or we're doing things wrong, even though their life has nothing to do with us. We've just conned ourselves into believing all kinds of nonsense, and it all gives us. Well, that was interesting. Sorry. A piece of hair in my helmet. Yuck. Hey, real life. So was saying, so if the cool thing is that we've conned ourselves, and we con ourselves all the time, and we've been conned. So the cool thing is we can do it. So if we start to program and con ourselves with better information, more useful, valuable product, information of what we're going to do and how we're going to live our life, etc., we have the ability to actually make dramatic changes in the way things are for our life, as opposed to just sort of riding the wave that we feel like other people are only able to create. So it's actually really a good thing that we've been susceptible to this, because it means that we can actually do it to ourselves, but just better, and not have to worry so much, and worried about what other people are thinking and all the other stuff, because ultimately people aren't even thinking about us. They're thinking about themselves. And if they react to us, it's because of their own issues, not because of the actual things we do.